Okay, this is our fourth day after Christmas. We're doing long division of polynomials. And as a refresher, we're going to take a look at dividing by numbers. So if we want to divide 2403 by 8, we would set it up as 8 on the outside and then 2403 underneath. And the first thing we do without even realizing is we say, does 8 go into 2? We know it doesn't. So does 8 go into 24? So that's 24 divided by 8. What does that equal? And it's 3. So 3 times 8 equals 24. And now we subtract. We bring down this 0 because that's a placeholder. We have to have it. Does 8 go into 0? No. So 0 times 8 is 0. That's 0. And bring down the 3. Does 8 go into 3? Again, it does not go into 3. So 0 times 8 gives us 0. Subtract, and we have 3 left over. In elementary, we had to go ahead and do all the decimals here. We're going to stop at this point. So my remainder is 3, and the way we write that is 303/8. So the steps that we've taken, the first thing we did is divide the leading term by the leading term. So find the factor. Find the factor. Second, find factor right on top. We then multiplied. Third step was we subtracted. Fourth, bring down next one. So the next digit we brought down. Fifth, we repeat the cycle. And then when we're all done, we write remainder as a fraction. And those are the steps we're going to be following for long division. It's a little bit different, but we follow the same steps. So we're dividing by n minus 7. So that's my divisor. So we write that on the outside. Underneath here, we write what our dividend is. What is it we're dividing? So n squared minus 3n minus 21. And just like we did up here, we're going to see, does our leading term go into the first thing? So we have n squared divided by n. So n squared divided by n gives you n. So we write that up on top. And now we multiply, just like we did up on top. So n times all of this. So I wrote it over here, n times n minus 7. And you'll remember you have to distribute that. So n times n gives us n squared. N times negative 7 gives us negative 7n. And now we need to subtract. And one of the things I like to have you do to make sure we don't forget to subtract is let's distribute that negative inside. So we're going to change the sign of everything. Instead of subtracting, we're going to add a negative n squared. And instead of subtracting the 7n, we're going to add that. So we've changed the sign of everything. So n squared plus a negative n squared gives us nothing. Negative 3n plus 7n gives us 4n. And now we're going to bring down the next term. So we're going to repeat our process. How many times does n, so my leading thing, go into 4n? Or in other words, 4n divided by n, so that gives me a positive 4. So 4 times n minus 7. So 4 times n minus 7, I'm just writing it up here so you can see what we're doing. So 4 times n is 4n. 4 times a negative 7 is a negative 28. And we need to subtract. So again, when we subtract, I'm going to have you move that negative sign inside so it changes every sign. So that becomes a positive, that becomes a negative, and this becomes addition. Those cancel. Negative 21 plus 28 gives me a positive 7. That's going to be my remainder. And I write that right next to our constant, and it's divided by, well, our divisor, so n minus 7. So this, what I've circled, is our quotient. That's what we get when we divide by n minus 7. And we're going to repeat that same process. So this time, our divisor is 2x plus 3. Our dividend, what we're dividing, is 2x squared minus 17x minus 38. So how many times does 2x go into 2x squared? And another way of looking at that is we take that leading term, 2x squared divided by 2x. The 2's cancel. X goes into x squared one time, so we're left with x. And I put it over the x term in the dividend. So x times 2x plus 3. X times 2x is 2x squared. X times 3 is 3x. And I need to subtract. And remember, the way we subtract, change the signs. So 2x squareds cancel. Negative 17x plus a negative 3x gives me a negative 20x. And I bring down the last term, or the next term, which is the last one. And now I want to look and see how many times does 2x go into negative 20x? Or negative 20x divided by 2x. So x's cancel. 2 goes into negative 20 a negative 10 times. So that's the factor I put up on top. Negative 10 times 2x plus 3 gives me a negative 20x, and 3 times negative 10 is negative 30. And again, we're subtracting, so we change these signs, so that becomes addition, positive, positive. And those cancel, and we're left with a negative 8. So my remainder, we tend to go ahead and put a plus sign here, and then put the negative up here, over 2x plus 3. There's nothing wrong with putting a minus sign here and leaving it blank up here, but just we tend to put the plus sign here and then the negative. Okay, so far so good. Let's take a look at this next one. We're dividing by 3x plus 2, and our dividend is 9x squared plus 21x plus 10. So 3x squared divided by 3x gives me 3x. So now I take that 3x and multiply both pieces here by it. So I get 9x squared. 2 times 3x is 6x. And we subtract. Plus, minus, that changes to a minus. So x squareds cancel. 21x plus a negative 6x is 15x, and we bring down the next term. Now we want to see how many times does 3x, we're not worried about the 2, but how many times does 3x go into 15x? It goes in 5 times, so 5 times 3x is 15x. 5 times 2 is 10. Ooh, look at that. Exact same. So as we change our signs, plus, minus, minus, our x's go away and our constant goes away. So this means we have no remainder. So our quotient is 3x plus 5. And just an interesting tidbit here, if you have a remainder of 0, that means that both your divisor and your quotient are factors of your dividend. So 3x plus 2 times 3x plus 5 equals 9x squared plus 21x plus 10. Okay, what's different about this one? We've got something cubed, squared. Notice we don't have our x term. So we need to put a placeholder in there. Just like we did back up here, this 0 in 2403, that 0 was a placeholder. So same way, we've got to do a placeholder in here. So we're going to have 2x cubed plus 4x squared plus how many x's do we have? And the answer, of course, is 0. But we need to put that 0x in there as a placeholder for our division. Okay, so how many times does x go into 2x cubed? It goes in 2x squared. So I'm going to write it over the x squared term. And now I'm going to take 2x squared and multiply x plus 3. So I get 2x cubed, and 2x squared times 3 gives me 3x squared. And we want to subtract. So we change that to addition, subtract, subtract. X cubes cancel. 4x squared plus a negative 3x squared gives me 1x squared. Now I bring down that next term, that 0. So we continue just the same. How many times does x go into x squared? The answer is x times. Because x times x is x squared. And now x times 3 is 3x. And we're subtracting. So the way we're going to subtract, we're moving that minus sign inside and changing that to addition. X squareds go away, and we have negative 3x. Bring down the minus 5. And how many times does x go into negative 3x? Answer is negative 3. So negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times positive 3 gives me a negative 9. And we want to subtract. So again, we're going to move that negative inside by changing every sign. Our x's go away, and we're left with a positive 4. So my remainder, we write as a fraction, 4 divided by x plus 3. So this is my quotient. Over here is my divisor, and that's my dividend. Okay, let's take a look on the back side. Okay, well, the top right one, unfortunately, is the exact same as the one we just did, so we don't have to worry about it. So let's take a look here. We've got our polynomial in order, so that's good. And we're dividing by x plus 1. Doesn't look like we're missing any terms. So x plus 1 divided into x third plus 3x squared minus x minus 5. Okay. So how many times does x go into x cubed? It goes in x squared times. So when we multiply x plus 1 times x squared, we get x cubed plus x squared. And we need to subtract. So minus, minus, plus. Those go away. We have 2x squared. Bring down our minus x. And now how many times does x go into 2x squared? It goes in 2x times. 2x times x plus 1 gives us 2x squared plus 2x. And we want to subtract that. So we move those signs, or change the signs. Negative x plus a negative 2x is a negative 3x. Bring down the minus 5. I like to draw these arrows in so we don't, if we start to wander off our page, we keep track of what's next to bring down. How many times does x go into negative 3x? So minus 3. Minus 3 times x plus 1 is negative 3x. Minus 3, and we want to subtract. So we change that to plus, plus, plus. X's go away, and we're left with a negative 2. So this is going to be plus a negative 2 over x plus 1. And there you go. Okay, let's take a look down here. Ooh, this one looks much more difficult, but truly it's not. So we're dividing by 3 terms, and we have 5 terms here. So again, this whole thing is written on the outside. X squared minus 2x plus 1. And we're going to divide that into 2x to the 4th minus 11x third plus 19x squared minus 13x plus 3. Wow. Okay, here we go. Well, when we're trying to figure out what to put on the top, or the factor, we are just looking at the leading terms. So how many times does x squared go into 2x to the 4th? So 2x to the 4th divided by x squared. Well, the 2 stays there. X squared goes into x to the fourth 2 times. So our answer is 2x squared. So we put that over our x squared term. And now we take the 2x squared and multiply everything over here by 2x squared. And we're going to get 2x to the fourth minus 4x cubed plus 2x squared. And remember, we put parentheses around here, and we're going to subtract. And when we subtract, we change every sign. So this becomes addition, negative, positive, negative. X to the fourths cancel. Our x cubed term, negative 11x cubed plus 4x cubed gives me a negative 7x cubed. 19x squared plus a negative 2x squared is a positive 17x squared. And we bring down our next term, minus 13x. So now, how many times does x squared go into negative 7x cubed? That's negative 7x. So negative 7x multiplied by all three terms, and we'll get negative 7x cubed. Negative 7x times a negative 2x is a positive 14x squared, and 1 times negative 7x is still negative 7x. And we want to subtract. So when we subtract, change these signs, plus, minus, plus. X cubes go away. 17x squared plus a negative 14x squared is a 3x squared. And negative 13x plus 7x is a negative 6x. And we bring down that last term, plus 3. Okay, last one. How many times does x squared go into 3x squared? So plus 3. 3 times x squared is 3x squared. 3 times a negative 2x is a negative 6x. And 3 times 1 is 3. And when we subtract this, look at that, they're all the same. So change the signs, and everything cancels. So there's no remainder here. So this tells us that 2x squared minus 7x plus 3 multiplied by x squared minus 2x plus 1 are the factors of that long polynomial. Okay, well, last one. Uh-oh, look at this guy. We've got x to the fourth, x squared, and a constant. So we're missing our x to the third term and our x term. And down here, we're missing the x. So we're going to have a lot of placeholders. So we're going to have x squared plus 0x, minus 5. So again, I've put in the placeholder that's missing here. X to the fourth plus 0x cubed minus 14x squared plus 0x plus 43. So I'm just underlining my placeholders. It just helps us keep track of everything. But we're still going to approach the problem the same way. How many times does x squared go into x to the fourth? And it goes in x squared times. So I'm going to put it over the x squared term. And now multiply everything by x squared. X squared times x squared is x to the fourth. X squared times 0 gives me 0x to the third. And negative 5 times x squared is negative 5x squared. And we're going to change our signs. So that becomes a positive, negative, negative, positive. X to the fourth goes away. X to the third goes away. So here we have negative 14x squared plus 5x squared. So that gives us a negative 9x squared. We bring down the next term, plus 0x. So this was x to the third. How many times does it doesn't make sense to see how many times x squared goes into x to 0x cubed. So let's bring down the next term also, plus 43. So x squared goes into negative 9x squared a negative 9 times. Negative 9 times x squared is negative 9x squared. Negative 9 times 0x is 0x. And negative 9 times negative 5 is positive 45. We want to subtract, so we're going to move that negative inside and add them. So plus, minus, minus. X squareds go away. Oops, that's a plus. And here we have 43 minus 45, so a negative 2. So my remainder is plus a negative 2 over x squared minus 5. Okay, good luck. Come see your teachers if you need help.